Welcome back to the Polytoxic Podcast. I'm your host, Little Miss VRB.
And I'm Sari Beth Rosenberg.
And we are back to bring you the most toxic topics of the news cycle once again.
Boy, do we have topics to get into. So we're going to start off with, the term homegrowns that's been introduced into the national conversation in a brand new way by the current occupant of the White House, number 47. Let's get into it. So I'm sure everyone who's watching this and listening to this is following the horrific case of Kilmar Garcia. And he essentially, there's a siren because New York City is where I live.
That's what we call confirmation in the spiritual community.
Yes. And everyone's confirming. And so basically, Kilmar Garcia was abducted. He was denied his due process rights. Actually, an earlier court ruled that it was unsafe for him to be returned to his homeland of El Salvador. That was several years ago. And he was mistakenly sent to, I would argue, one of the most dangerous prisons on this planet in El Salvador. And
I don't even know if we can call it a prison.
What is it? Say it.
This is a concentration camp. This is a death camp.
It's a death camp.
Send people to die.
Yes, there's aerial views of this camp that some are speculating provides evidence that it's a death camp. I was looking at some of the images just that they released from this camp, and they are. I wish I didn't see that before I went to bed. But what's even worse is that people are living this in real life right now, including Kilmar. And the recent development as we went live is that a federal judge, basically told the Trump administration, you need to bring him home. They scolded the government for doing nothing to return a wrongfully, let's say this together, wrongfully deported man. Wrongfully deported. A federal judge rebuked a Justice Department lawyer during a hearing, saying the government had not facilitated the man's return despite court orders to do so.
Well, even the Supreme Court has got involved as well. And the president is, if we can even call him that, is basically saying there's nothing they can do and they don't care. I also saw a quote from JD Vance. I don't know if it was from Twitter or from another social platform. And he's saying, are we suggesting that we go and save gang members from El Salvador? And this is a major problem with what we have going on here, because this man is not a known gang member or a criminal. This is very scary, first of all, that the president is just going above the law and above every single court, due process, the Constitution, but that they are coming on television and Twitter and all these places lying about the situation. There's no truth to it. But right before we started recording today, I saw on Threads that we were speaking about this in our private conversation last night about Democratic reps possibly going to El Salvador. And I saw right before I logged in that Senator Cory Booker is planning on going down there as well. And I don't know all of the names, but that several Democratic reps and senators are planning to go down there and demand the release of this man. And
Good.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's the only way right now. I mean, essentially, the president of El Salvador, Bukele, he likes to brag that he's the world's coolest dictator. What an oxymoron. He's palling around with Trump in the Oval Office like they're besties. They had a conversation that was caught in a hot mic where Trump was essentially asking him, we need 5 more prisons there. And I made a point last night, as I always do, in video format, sometimes in text, but this was in video format. And let's just remind ourselves, right, that yes, it's not exactly the same. No events from history and today are exactly the same, but I'm just making this point that Auschwitz, which is one of the most horrific, cruel, disgusting concentration camps, they all were, but this is the one that is very well known. Auschwitz was not in Germany. It was in Poland. Right. And Auschwitz was a concentration camp. And this is, as you were saying, it was not just a concentration camp, it was a death camp. And my fear is that there's other Kilmar Garcias there already, which we know there are, who have no gang affiliation. The Trump administration can say it all they want, but there's no evidence. And this man should not be there. He should have never been there. And the fact that they are not bringing him home is terrifying because it raises 2 questions. Number one, they're scared. Are they really scared? Because they know when he comes back, he's going to talk. and he's going to let the world know what they did to him. And number two, I don't even want to put it out there, but we all know we're all thinking the same thing. And I hope it's number one, because this man deserves to come home to his wife, to his family, to his union job. This man is a fellow union worker, and he's an American. And he deserves to be here. And he definitely does not deserve to have been having his life uprooted.
No, I think also something that we need to speak about is the very real danger that if this could happen to this man, it could happen to any of us. And in particular, hearing Trump speak on the hot mic about how he's can't wait to deport the homegrowns as well. What this means is, I think we know from this administration what demographics of people they're going to go for first. But just even floating the idea that anyone that they see as a criminal being deported, that opens the door for everything. What's to say they're not going to go and pick up Hillary Clinton or someone like us that just does social content and does the news? This is a very dangerous precedent to be set, because this man has no checks and balances. And so
and let's also talk about the fact that, like, the actual homegrown criminals that stormed the Capitol on January 6th, that led and participated in insurrection, were pardoned.
Or like a homegrown terrorist that has how many 37, 47, 27,007 felony counts against him, that's sitting in the Oval Office.
34.
Nukes and money. If we really want to talk about criminals, we can have a whole list of them right now. But this is the problem: is the criminals are running the castle.
Yes, the criminals are running the castle. I think that's our podcast title.
That's our name right there, possibly.
Yeah, there we go, possibly. But let's keep talking, though, because we might arrive at another one.
This is a story that everyone should continue to watch. And I sincerely feel that it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian or an independent or someone who doesn't care about
political. If you're apolitical,
essentially could affect every single American in a negative way, and people should be paying attention to it and concerned about it.
Yeah, absolutely. This affects every single one of us, and it is antithetical to what our country stands for. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is not America. Yeah, unfortunately, it has been America, but we also should have learned from our past. And I guess we didn't when 77 million people voted for Donald Trump. But at the very least, can we please course correct? And can we please have both Democrats and Republicans in particular, start standing up for our country and for our Constitution? Absolutely just so disgusting and despicable. And I just want to know when someone's going to get a spine in that party. Seriously.
Well, we've really come to that moment. You know, people are talking about impeachment and ways to stop him. And sincerely, the only way to stop him is just what you just said, is if Republicans on that side of the aisle that are true conservatives and Republican in nature and that aren't MAGA grow a backbone and a spine and stand up for what's right for all Americans. And I really have to hope that there is some good in some of these people and that they'll decide to do the right thing.
I really hope so. Well, let's transition to women in space. So now I'd like this to be a feel-good story, right? Outer space. But what happened yesterday?
So Jeff Bezos, the billionaire owner of Amazon, who is a huge Trump fan and was at the inauguration, sent his girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez, and some other women up to space in a very phallic-shaped rocket for 11 minutes. And I believe they thought they were doing some sort of Republican women's battle cry. And I think they really thought they were going to get a lot more positive reactions from it.
Did. They thought they did something.
But I don't see it as feminist progress at all. I see them as completely setting us back. There's so many problems with this. First of all, if we want to talk about the amount of money that was spent just to make this happen for an 11-minute joyride. So this is millions and millions and millions of dollars of taxpayers' money that Jeff Bezos or any of those women pay because they're getting cuts. They took a little spin in a joyride and they did a whole bunch of PR marketing where they did a very fancy photo shoot with glam and hair and
glammed out.
And all I'm going to say is we saw what that woman who was stuck out in space for all those months looked like when she came back. There's absolutely nothing glamorous about space travel. None of these women, minus the one who was an astronaut, qualified to do this. I just feel like it was so distasteful and wrong in a moment where people are being evicted from their homes because they can't afford rent. They've lost their health care and they can't afford to buy groceries. I just think it was such a gross display of wealth. And I hope it pissed a lot of people off because it should.
Me too. It was honestly, it was an affront to the actual women who've made it to outer space, and this is space travel, and it's cosplaying as astronauts, and it's undermining the efforts of women, some of whom have been erased from government websites as a result of the erasure of anything that they deem DEI, and it just the contrast of what's going on Earth, and that combined with then watching them launch themselves for 11 minutes. It was the Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket. And it's, they're calling it first all-female crew into space. Well, they could also do a first all-female crew of astronauts, right? And I think that this
Qualified astronauts.
qualified astronauts. And I think this fits into like this just anti-elitism that is going on in this country right now. It includes the attacks on secondary education, elementary education. It includes the attacks on our universities. Shout out to Harvard for standing up. Big boo to my alma mater, Columbia, for capitulating, right? Really, really disappointing. But there's just this attack on knowledge. There's this attack on facts. And I don't mean to drag, Katy Perry into this because I think it was far more vapid what she was doing. But I think it fits into this narrative that we're experiencing right now where there's just like if you have the money, you can just take the shortcut to getting the accolades, right? And let's just go through, like you were mentioning this money, right? This is from a tweet I saw earlier, and also it's based in facts. Basically, the space trip could have paid for the salaries of 400, just Katy Perry's space trip could have paid for the salaries of 400 to 600 teachers, based on state, the salaries of 500 park rangers, many of whom have been fired because of the Doge cuts. Yep. Wait, the debt of, listen to this one. Want to get angry? You're already mad. Want to get more angry? Let's do it. It's polytoxic. The student debt of 700 plus people. And then final one, you want to get real mad? You want to get real mad? I want to get madder. The cost of 6.2 million school lunches.
This is disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Let them eat space. It's totally giving Marie Antoinette. Maybe we're not starving all the way yet, but the financial crunch and hand around the throats of almost every American that I personally know. I know lots of successful people in business. Everyone is struggling right now, but it's just such a gross display. And at some point, I sincerely feel that the people are going to be pissed off just like they were in France.
Yeah, we should be.
The inequality in like what we experience versus these people. And also the cosplay effect of this. This is giving Kristi Noem and hanging out with a gun at a prison.
I was just going to say that, the hair alone.
This is giving Donald Trump walking down to UFC like he's some kind of fighter.
Or Donald Trump working at McDonald's.
They're not qualified in anything. No. And idea that they're allowed to parade around in life as if they have accomplished anything is just insane to me. But when you vote for a reality show president, you get a reality show cabinet and you get all of these people who I don't genuinely believe that they care about any Americans whatsoever. No, they care about making themselves famous. Politics has become a place where people want to be famous. I don't think they even care about constituents or making their districts or states and cities any better. They just want to be a star. And I can't wait for the season to be over because it's such bad TV. I can't deal with it.
It's so bad. Like, just cancel the season already. Impeach him. So, I mean, and again, like, let's just say that there was a former NASA rocket scientist on board. There was a civil rights activist on board. But again, why? And it's just, and there was a statement that was like, I think Katy Perry was like, once you see the Earth from space, it makes you think about things differently. If you had to go to outer space in 2025 to start seeing things differently, when it's like, open your eyes, they're taking away all of our rights.
I'm surrounded by so much love. Girl, this country has not been this polarized in a long, long time. There is absolutely no love going on here. There's no love for a country that will deport an innocent father, tax-paying, union represented
Yeah.
American citizen, and you're gonna talk about love?
Love.
There's so much love surrounding this mission. Love of the publicity, girl. Like,
Yeah.
we know
Promoting her new album.
we know that you don't do good albums, and we also know that you don't do good PR now.
Yeah.
So I'm canceling that
Cancel.
subscription right
Canceled.
now.
Over.
Just cancel. And also, if we want to remember, I don't know if we can put photos up on the screen here. She did a Tesla photo shoot. If you needed one
Oh,
more
that's
tip,
right. She
she did a
did.
Tesla photo shoot
She
that looked just
did.
like Kim Kardashian's in the
She did.
Cybertruck, in her Cybertruck. So
No.
let's just keep it real on who
Yeah.
these
Keep it
people are,
100.
who they work for, and what this publicity is promoting, which is fascism.
It's
There was a
fascism.
promoting fascism.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos, look what he did to the Washington Post. Look how he bent the knee to a fascist dictator that is our president. Not my
Honestly, I
president, but
think
he's our
that
president.
he agrees with it.
I
It's
do too.
The Washington Post is basically just now like a personal blog for things that he approves of, and he
Yeah.
approves of this because he's going to get the tax cuts,
Yeah.
and Trump's going to give him the monopoly, and Amazon one day will hopefully own everything in his mind.
Yeah.
So
And the
it's
question is like, how much is enough? Like, when does it just become too much? And I guess for these people, they are so motivated by greed that it's never enough. And it's just so despicable, which brings us to,
it's an American oligarchy.
yes, which brings us to where you were this weekend and this tour that is taking our country by storm. And it's AOC and Bernie's tour around America, shedding light on this oligarchy that has our country by a stranglehold, thanks to the fact that the people who control the White House right now. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna segue into interviewing. Are you here? Are you here? I don't know. You're right there. You're in front.
Yeah.
You're right there. You're right there.
I'm there. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Hi. So, hello. I was just watching you all day on Saturday, all the clips. You were at, I'm going to deem it because I'm a history teacher. I'm allowed to do these things. You were at a history making event in Los Angeles on Saturday. Tell us all about it.
I had the great honor and privilege to get press creator credentials for the Bernie and AOC Fighting the Oligarchy Tour in Los Angeles, California. There was 36,000 people there, and later we found out that that was the largest political rally that Bernie has ever held in his lifetime of service to us all. And there's so many things to touch on here, but I want to try and like wrap it up. I don't want to go on and on. Since the election, I have felt very sad, and I didn't know how we were going to continue as a party, as a group, as a society. And for the first time since the election, I felt in community that day, not only with all of the amazing creators and organizers and volunteers that I had the wonderful opportunity to be around, but I'm talking, there's no feeling like being in the middle of your city that you love with that many people and knowing that they all felt the same way as I did. And it gave me so much hope and inspiration, because I think a lot of times when we're creating content, we feel like this. I say, like, I feel like a man alone in a boat, like
Yeah,
in
me
the middle
too.
of the ocean, and no one around. We don't get to be around each other very much. And it was really nice to know that there is a whole lot of people that feel the same way as I do, not just in Los Angeles, but the following day they went to Iowa, Ohio, Iowa, and
They went to
I
Utah
well,
and then Idaho.
they were in
Utah and then
Iowa,
Idaho.
Idaho yesterday, but
Yes.
this is momentum. The place where they were just the other day, Idaho. I'm sorry, why am I
It
saying
was
this wrong?
Idaho. Idaho.
Fit, which is an extremely red place, was packed to the
Yes.
brim. And I think
Yes.
a lot of people, we hear, I voted for taxes. I didn't believe anything he said. I think a lot of people, whether they're doing it publicly or not, are regretting their votes.
I agree.
And I think watching things happen, like innocent men being taken away to El Salvador and losing their businesses, and the
Mhm.
tariffs squashing their brands and anything that they're trying to do. I think there's going to be a lot of people waking up. And I actually have a really hopeful view now of the midterms, because when we're going to have the next election for Congress, like,
Yeah.
I think it's just going to look different this time. I don't think the numbers are going to be the same that they were. I think a lot more people are going to come out of the woodwork and vote. And I hope this tour inspires that, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think that people are showing up in record numbers. The Idaho rally, this was at the Ford Idaho Center. 12,500 people showed up. That put that center at
It was
capacity.
packed.
It was
It was
packed.
it looked like a Kamala rally.
It
Like it
did.
looked
Yes, absolutely. And Bernie Sanders said the following. He said, "We don't accept this blue state, red state nonsense. We are one people." And then Ocasio and then Cortez, just called it like it is, that we have a criminal in the White House. And they're speaking to the people. The
yeah.
fact that we have healthcare and economic inequality in this country, the fact that we need systemic change. And it sucks that we had to get this low for some people to realize why the government matters and how the government actually helps them. It's kind of like that boyfriend or girlfriend that you take for granted, where like they make you dinner every night. I mean, I don't know about that, but like I'm just imagining this. They make you a dinner every night, they wish you a nice day, they check in on you, and that just becomes the norm and you get used to it, and like, oh, you end up needing to go to urgent care, they pick you up. Like, that's just what they do. And then one day they're gone and you're like, wait, where did you go? And that's the government, right? The government works in a way that a lot of people don't realize until it's no longer there. And
Until
yes,
it's personally affecting them. Let's be
yes,
real with this.
yeah.
Until these policies and the things that he's doing personally start affecting people, going to care, but they are going to feel it almost immediately. Like in my professional life, we are already feeling the tariff
Oh,
situation
yeah, I'm
with
sure.
shipping shipments internationally, already feeling it, and we're already trying to figure out ways to
Wow.
manufacture
Wow.
and do things that are not in the United States, that are actually out of It's too expensive to be bringing things in and out of here, right?
Yeah.
But until people are personally affected, or their daughter is taken from a college campus because she went to a protest, or
Right.
someone's father is taken to El Salvador, like maybe then people will start
Yeah.
caring. But we're only 80
80
days
days.
80
80
days into the
days.
presidency, and they're just bulldozing through all of the norms. The Constitution, you might as well light a match to it at this
Yeah.
point. But I think people are paying attention, and I guess that's where we start. I mean, we have to figure out how to reach the people that feel left behind and that have lost faith in the system. We have to figure out a way to reach them, because the system is about to be completely broken,
Yeah.
and then there
If
will
they
be
have it their
nothing
way.
that can do to stop it. So, if nothing, I hope that this tour inspires people to pay attention, and it rejuvenates those of us who have lost hope.
Absolutely. And I hope more senators, more representatives, more local officials take note and do the same. Same with Senator Booker's epic 25-hour, 5-minute speech on the Senate floor. Like, keep going. Everyone can do that. Like,
And
do
that's
it,
what people want to
do it.
see right now
Yes.
too. That's the
Bold
action I
action.
think at least the people in my comment sections want to see.
Me
They
too.
want to see Democrats fighting for them. And I'm really loving to see the younger generation. I mean, Bernie embracing them and pushing them
Yeah.
forward, and understanding that they know what this moment needs, what the future needs. Maxwell Frost, AOC, Jasmine
Yeah.
Crockett. I'm so excited for these younger members that we've been watching come up to the top, because I think they're going to be the ones to save us.
Absolutely. And also one last thing about that. Right after Bernie spoke in LA, he shuttled right off to Coachella and
Hello.
opened up for Claro. And listen,
Meet
I
the
was
dead for 2 days after that, and
yeah,
that man went straight to
I
Coachella.
know. And I think the lesson there is meet the people where they are. I saw a friend of
Yeah.
mine was there and she wrote that she overheard someone saying, I thought that was Bill Gates. Whatever. But the point is that like it's fine. It's fine. People were partying. But meet the people where I think that's another lesson. Meet the people where they are.
Great.
Right. And I think that needs to be like on everyone's desktop and everyone's screensaver who is trying to fight to get this country back. Meet the people where they are. Listen to the people. You might not like what you hear. I hear some things from friends I was telling you about yesterday that I didn't love to hear. But you know what? If you don't listen, it doesn't mean that their ideas and opinions go away. And if it's not a wake-up call now, I don't know what is, but I had so much hope watching that and watching you experience it. So check out Vanessa's Instagram and TikTok. She has tons of videos. Oh, actually, I collabed with her, so they're on mine too. It looks like I was there by proxy. So thank you for collabing
You were
me.
there in spirit. You're
I was,
always there in spirit in everything that I do.
and
My
likewise.
soulmate in this process is whatever we're going through.
I
I'm
know.
so happy to have you next to me doing that.
And likewise. And we're also so lucky to have all the people who are in our respective communities and joint communities on Instagram, on TikTok, on Substack, on Threads. What did I miss? I don't know. YouTube
YouTube.
and our podcast. Boom, 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 boom.
Everywhere.
So
So
thank you.
thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in
Thanks for tuning in. And we will be back
next week.
with all the other toxic topics for you next week. We don't know what they are yet, but they're going to be toxic AF.
That's right. We'll see you on the
Bye.
street. Bye.
Bye.